Write that pain. Write that pain.
Yes.
At 13, I was fucking a bitch 26. Sexual abuse, but I was getting my kicks. Then they say something broken that need to be fixed. Because all I want to do is fuck a lot of chicks. I used to get beat senseless by a mom dude. So I grew up thinking that's just what moms do. Running away, but had nowhere to run to. So I accepted at 7. I must have been wrong, too. Fuck out of there. Write that
A
pain,
great
nigga.
deal of the drinking and a great deal of the drugs probably was suppressing a lot of things that he had to deal with early in life.
Billy would later reveal that his childhood had been clouded by a dark secret.
He did confide in me. He did tell me that he was sexually abused as a little boy.
He went to his mother, and he told his mother, and his mother was in denial and in disbelief and didn't protect him. And what that did to Billy's psyche is the same thing that happens to so many young men that are the victims of that intrusion on their person. It destroys your feelings of self-worth.
That happened to him was so wrong, and it was like nobody really cared. You know, you move on, but he couldn't move on. That dictated, I think, his entire life.
I never seen anybody in my life to battle the demons that Billy Preston battled. I never seen a person fight so hard to overcome those demons. Yeah, he was scarred.
A male role model in my life was my grandfather. He was a deacon in the church and he ended up a minister. And in my eyesight back in the day, back then, he could do no wrong.
Until one night when Tilo was 7 years old and everything changed.
And it was like 12 at night. We was in the bed. And then I look over at the bathroom and I see my grandfather standing behind my mother, you know, with his arms around her. And I just saw him hugging and touching her on her places that a father shouldn't be touching a child, his daughter. That bothered me so much, I cried myself back to sleep.
It's a lot of things that I didn't know. She always wanted me to stay with her. She always wanted me to spend the night at her house. I had no clue why. I never knew.
Their mother eventually moved the family from Gary to St. Paul, Minnesota, leaving their grandfather behind. But after she remarried there, the brothers say their life became another kind of nightmare.
He took over the household. Then he starts punishing us, locking us in the basement. No lights, no electricity in the basement.
So we went from my mom's brutal slayings with a belt and anything she could grab to being locked in attics and basements for months. The lock was on the outside of the door at all times, and this was to keep us contained.
When Tilo was 15 and Tweet was 12, they were kicked out of their mother's house and scrambled to survive on the streets.
I had no other options. I had to sell dope.
So after the funeral, a cousin of ours, she just said so cavalier one day, like, oh yeah, well, it's sad that your mom had your sister with your granddad. What?
My grandfather, come to find out, was her father, which is the craziest. Like, living with that and knowing that I saw this when I was a kid.
And then I found out that's what he is to my mom? Like, really? And how could he do this to his own daughter? That's sick.
That destroyed those boys. They lost a lot when they found that out.
Now, mind you, we're next right now. 2 coasts out. We're number 1 with a bullet. So now, when you see me out and I'm performing and all, it's just like a shell. I wasn't really there.